Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here live with breaking news. North Korea has had its ships turned back from China. Their main export is coal. And on top of that, the People's Daily, the major publication of Communist China, will put these articles on screen on the coal and on the People's Daily, has come out and threatened to nuke Communist North Korea if they try to start a war with the United States or if they keep threatening to nuke the carrier task force. So they've said that their vital interests are threatened by North Korea coming out and threatening to nuke the U.S. carrier task force, threatening to nuke Seoul, South Korea, threatening to nuke Tokyo, Japan. Now, we just showed you the article, and we'll show you tracks of this that are globally tracked of the 5 ships carrying coal turned back. And then there's the article, China threatens to bomb North Korea's nuclear facilities if it crosses Beijing's bottom line. I'm not backing this Syria strike. And I'm not backing all this bravado in the South China Sea, but here's the bottom line. China has been threatening to take over the South China Sea. They've been boarding ships. They've got 90% of it. And Russia agreed to turn over the chemical weapons of Assad. That didn't happen. So the argument by Tillerson and Trump is we hit it because we don't know who's behind it. We want to appear strong. But I'll say this right now. Trump has been proven right so far, and China has blinked big time. So here's your headline. Here's your takeaway. China backs off after Trump threats in the South China Sea. Subheadline, will North Korea go all in and ignore China and the United States and go to war? We've had a ceasefire since July 27th, 1953. You have this insane third-generation dictator in charge. I'm not backing all this bravado, all this chutzpah, all this hubris with nuclear weapons. But I understand North Korea's been threatening everyone. They're the belligerent. Syria didn't start the war. Syria didn't do all this. Obama and the neocons and Hillary and the rest of them launched the war that started the war in Syria. That's why we're in the wrong being there. That's why they're flooding Europe with radical Muslims through Syria into Turkey right now. Europe allowed its borders to fall. But now this is such a big deal to see China for the first time in modern history stand down to the United States. I wonder what Donald Trump in that 4-day meeting with the communist Chinese dictator said to them, because regardless, they're in the People's Daily saying, we will nuke you if you start a war. That's against our interest. And they're turning back their ships. Their main export is coal that their poor slaves in North Korea produce and then ship down to China. So David Knight, and, of course, Owen Schroyer here. I'm going to get out of the studio. I just popped in because you've already been covering this, but it just crystallized. They really have blinked so far. Where do you think this goes from here?
Well, interesting, Alex. They're talking about this is dozens of ships. This is on Thomson Reuters Icon, a financial information analytics platform. It shows, they say, a dozen cargo ships.
That's right. It was 5. Now it's a dozen.
Yeah, going back. And they said it's about 2 million tons of stranded coal that's been there. So this is something that began back in February 26th. The Chinese said, look, we're gonna put some economic sanctions on you if you don't stop shooting these missiles wildly out into the ocean and making threats against people. And now they're taking it to the next level, saying, all right, just send the stuff home. We've had it sitting here for about 5 weeks. We're not going to take it. Just send it back home. So that's a very positive response, especially what you're talking about, if they are saying in their official mouthpiece paper that they're going to nuke North Korea if they get belligerent, because that's the concern that everybody had.
Because they're threatening nuclear weapons with some psycho fat guy. And again, I don't want to encourage the neocons and people for all this pushing war, but then what happens if North Korea and China back down? That kind of encourages this. So it's damned if you don't. Owen?
Well, I think that it's good that Trump wants to try to use diplomacy with China to finally address the North Korea situation, something that's just been ignored, essentially, for the longest time. I mean, it's no secret what North Korea has done to the millions of people there to oppress them,
kill them,
in the
starve them, and it's been major appeasement.
And China has been sitting right there next door, just not doing anything about it. So if Trump is using diplomacy to work out the situation in North Korea, I think that that's great. I'm just worried that, and again, this might be out of Trump's hands, but that Trump or the Trump administration has bitten off more than they could chew right now, trying to fix the situation in Syria and try to fix the situation in North Korea. Now, Donald Trump, is working 20 hours a day or whatever. I'm sure that he's talking to the people that he thinks are pulling the strings to work it all out.
Oh, they're talking to the North Koreans. They're talking to the Chinese. They're talking to the Russians. But I mean, I agree with you. We're wrong to even be in Syria because we started it. With North Korea, they started it. It's been ongoing since China invaded in 1950.
And everyone in the world should be getting behind that. I mean, who in the world politically is going to say, "Oh no, North Korea is just fine. Don't worry about that." I can't. Is there one country?
Sure, but Owen, I mean, you talk about them listening to détente. I mean, I think this is Trump. What do you think Trump said to the communist dictator when the Chinese always ignore us that got them in line? I mean, they had People's Daily going, great meeting with Trump. We want peace. North Korea better behave itself. That was by Saturday. The People's Daily was like Donald Trump was running it. What do you think Trump said? Did he show them the secret weapons?
I think he said, we're taking care of North Korea no matter what. And well, that's what the press said that he said. So we know that he said that. Anything else, I don't know. But he told China, we're going into North Korea. We're going to do something about it. So
you better be partners in it.
Exactly.
You better choose a side.
Yeah.
You're making trillions with us. You're buying up Hollywood. You're running the damn show. We gave you the Panama Canal. We've spread our legs to you. And now you want to sit here with this little dictator and side with him? You pick a side.
Mm-hmm. We've had a ceasefire with North Korea for 64 years. But in the last couple of years, what's happened is this failing economy and this inbred dictatorship that we've got there has decided that they are going to take people's minds off of the internal problems of that country by trying to project power abroad. And that's making them very dangerous. So they need to be stopped in that sense. And we all see what's happening there. We just need to make sure that we don't follow in the same pattern, that we don't start becoming adventurous militarily so that we can distract people from the failures that are happening here in America. We need to fix America. But this is a problem. He is getting increasingly belligerent. It's not just us. It's the Japanese and even the Chinese that are concerned about what's going on. Absolutely.
Exactly,
and
David.
If he creates nuclear weapons, he doesn't need to necessarily deliver them by a missile. I mean, he's
a boat.
Yeah, exactly. He could do it with a boat. So,
and expanding on that, we don't want adventurism. We want Korea, the North, South to be in peace, China to be in peace, Japan to be in peace. We just want peace. You've been to China. Your daughter's adopted from China. We understand these issues. My sister's South Korean adopted. The issue is big, crazy governments are a problem. And I want to actually laud Trump for his strength with China and North Korea. We're still going to see what unfolds from this. But right now, they're sending clear signals that Trump has called their bluff, which then at the same level gives me unease. What do you think, David Knight, Owen Schroyer, and anybody else want to comment in the control room, what do you think Trump said to have them finally begin to capitulate? Because the Chinese are all about face. They wouldn't be doing this now if this wasn't their decision. I mean, it shows the direction of things.
Well, I mean, Steve Pachinik said that he thought that the missile attack in Korea was essentially to impress the Chinese. And said everybody, according to Steve Pachinik, had been advised except for the Chinese premier. Be that as it may, I still don't support the missile attack the way that it was done. I wish they had done it some other way. Perhaps there was other issues involved, and I'm sure there were. There's a lot of things that are on the table. And it's currency manipulation, trade issues, but the North Korean thing is really coming to a head because these missile tests are getting more and more frequent, and they're getting more and more belligerent with Japan and everyone in the area. The South China Sea.
I think China's tired of it too.
Yeah, exactly.
And so here's the issue: this is coming to a head. We're not out of the woods yet, but it looks good. But I agree. You win this war, you win this battle, you lose the war. This will embolden all the hawks to say, see, we've got massive superiority. Doesn't matter with a nuclear war. It doesn't matter if you have superiority. You end up losing the planet. So I'm worried, okay, we win this battle, we lose the war because this emboldens all the adventurists if China and North Korea back off, which I'm glad they are. They were the ones starting it.
Yeah, the danger is that it is a drug. It is a quick sugar high. You can see the praise that you get from the media. They stop attacking him. All these people who said that he was erratic, he couldn't be trusted. And now when he does something real quickly, a quick reversal and shoots missiles, they praise everything that he does. So that's the danger. We don't want Trump to go down that path. We don't want him to get caught up in trying to be the leader of the world, but rather go back to being the leader of America, focus on the problems that we have here and not try to solve. And
that's right. War fever is the problem.
Yeah.
Globalists are the problem. Owen?
Well, another thing, obviously, China, you were about to reference this. They're really focused on the South China Sea, all the resources that are out there. They're power mongering out there. So maybe Trump comes in and says, hey, look, we'll back off your enterprises and everything you're doing in the South China Sea. Come in and help us with North Korea, and I'll essentially not necessarily turn a blind eye, but we're not going to raise a big fuss with that. Help us with this North Korea issue. So China says, well, let's prioritize standing up for North Korea or harnessing the resources in the South China Sea. They see that on their table. They decide.
Sure, but they're using North Korea as the excuse to get the South China Sea. We can't let Japan and the Philippines and others just give up their territorial waters.
Well, let me ask you this, Alex, because we've talked about the Machiavelli tactics that Trump could be using in Syria right now. What if on another level, because I thought that Trump wanted to keep us out of World War III. That's what all of his rhetoric was saying during the presidential debates. So I'm hoping that Trump is a total turncoat on that. What if, as a Machiavelli tactic, he's putting World War III on a platter for these people and actually saying, you want this World War? Have a taste of it. Go ahead. Have a taste of it. Do you like the taste of it? This is how it's going to taste.
Well, sure. I think it's peace through strength, and it remains to be seen. It's just that I look at our own elites putting the radical jihadis in power, turning Arab Spring loose, giving North Korea the reactors. There's an evil force that wants larger war, that believes it can survive a nuclear war, that's doing this, that we're feeding, as David said, this drug. So I'm very pleased that China's starting to back off for the first time in decades. We'll see what North Korea does. We'll find out if China is in control or not. We're going to take this live clip out, upload it right now. But this is a live feed. You guys finish up with your calls and news. Thanks for letting me pop in. More tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central.
Absolutely. And, we're going to have to wait and see, talking about what they had there, we're going to have to wait and see what develops here. And then we'll say, well, maybe that was what they were talking about. Maybe that's where they made these trade-offs that we're talking about. At this point, we don't really know. And at this point, it's a very high-stakes game of chicken. Two people driving down the road at high speed, straight at each other.
Yeah, I'm glad we're winning.
Turn off.
I'm glad we're winning, but I don't want to play chicken.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
I don't want to win by being the craziest guy in the room.
Syria didn't start the chicken. That's why I'm against it.
Yeah.
North Korea started the chicken. I'm glad we're winning it.
Yeah.
So it's like, who starts the chicken is the guy that's at fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good headline. For another headline, Trump, North Korea, China playing game of chicken.
Yeah, there you go. Nuclear chicken.
I want to tell you about some of the products at InfoWarsStore.com. We are under constant attack. You know it by now from the mainstream media. They're trying to attack us on every level. Now with the YouTube scandal, they're demonetizing our channels, which again takes a huge chunk out of our income, which is why we always appreciate and rely on you getting the products, because that's how we stay afloat. They can't get to us that way. They can't pressure you to not buy the products. They don't have that power. And that's why you're the key to this entire operation. We have Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste, bubblegum flavor, just arrived at InfoWarsStore.com. This is by listener request. Bubblegum flavored Super Blue toothpaste now available at InfoWarsStore.com in limited supply. Again, if you're not using fluoride-free toothpaste by now, then you're absolutely insane. Harvard studies, it reduces IQ, it causes bone cancer. It's not great, let's just put it that way. And I've been using it for about, 15 years now? So you're going to buy it anyway, why not buy it from us? It's in limited supply, but it is available at InfoWarsStore.com with the new bubblegum flavor. Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste, and it supports this network, which is under constant demonization and attack, because we don't take big fat checks from George Soros. We don't get put on extremist lists, even though they want us to. That's how they're taking away the YouTube money. That's why we need your support more than ever, because we're not funded by giant corporations who are now pulling the plug on YouTube as they move it into a TV thing, a Netflix model, to drown out independent voices. So support us by getting the products at InfoWarsStore.com.